What if Pokemon and Teamfight Tactics had a baby and HoYoverse was the one raising it? Because that's exactly what Honkai Nexus Anima looks like. At first glance, it looks like another creature collecting game, but once you actually look deeper, you realize this isn't trying to copy Pokemon at all. Instead, it's mixing monster collecting, strategic team building, auto battles, and everything HoYoverse has learned over the last several years into something that honestly feels completely different. And the crazy part? This might end up being one of the most replayable games HoYoverse has ever made. So today, let's break down everything we know about Honkai Nexus Anima, why everyone is suddenly talking about it, and whether this could become HoYoverse's next massive hit. If you've somehow missed all the recent announcements, Honkai Nexus Anima is an upcoming game from HoYoverse that focuses on collecting creatures called animas. Instead of directly controlling your characters throughout every fight, you're building a team of creatures that battle automatically once combat begins. That's where the Teamfight Tactics comparison starts making a lot of sense. You're not relying on mechanical skill or fast reactions, you're relying on strategy, picking the right creatures, finding synergies, positioning your team, upgrading your roster, and creating combinations that can completely overwhelm your opponent before the battle even starts. Think of yourself less as the fighter and more as the coach putting together the perfect lineup. And honestly, that kind of gameplay has become incredibly popular over the last few years. Players love experimenting with different builds, discovering broken combinations, and slowly optimizing their teams over time. It scratches a completely different itch compared to an action RPG. The easiest comparison is Pokemon. You collect creatures, they each have unique abilities. You'll probably spend hours trying to build your dream team, but that's really where the similarities begin to end. Pokemon is usually about taking direct turns, choosing attacks, and managing battles one move at a time. Nexus Anima seems much more focused on preparation. Your decisions happen before combat, then the battle becomes the payoff. It's much closer to an auto battler than a traditional RPG, and if you've ever played Teamfight Tactics, Auto Chess, or even games like Super Auto Pets, you'll know exactly why people get addicted. Every run feels different, every team evolves differently. Sometimes you'll accidentally discover an insane combo that carries you through an entire run. Other times, your carefully planned strategy completely falls apart because you overlooked one weakness. That's where the replay value comes from. You're constantly learning, constantly adapting, constantly finding new ways to win. And that's something HoYoverse hasn't really explored before. One thing HoYoverse consistently nails is presentation. Whether you like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, or Honkai Impact Third, their games always look polished, the animations are smooth, the music's memorable, the character designs are instantly recognizable, and from everything we've seen so far, Nexus Anima doesn't seem to be lowering that standard. The creatures have personality, the environments look colorful, the visual effects during combat are flashy without becoming impossible to follow. Even though battles play automatically, they still look exciting. That's important because auto battlers can sometimes feel like you're just watching numbers. HoYoverse seems to understand that every battle still needs to feel satisfying. The attacks need impact, abilities need visual identity, and every creature needs to stand out. If they can pull that off consistently, watching battles could become almost as enjoyable as playing them. Here's where I think Nexus Anima could really surprise people. The actual combat might not be the main game. Building the perfect team might be. Imagine collecting dozens, maybe even hundreds of different animas, each with unique traits, different rarities, different roles, different elemental types, different passive abilities. Suddenly, every new creature isn't just another collectible, it's another puzzle piece. Maybe one weak-looking creature becomes incredibly powerful when paired with two others. Maybe one support unit completely changes an entire strategy. Maybe positioning becomes just as important as the creatures themselves. These are the kinds of systems that keep players experimenting for months. You'll constantly see videos titled, "I found the strongest combo. This team is completely broken. You've been using this creature wrong." And honestly, those kinds of discoveries are what build long-lasting communities. Now let's talk about the one thing that's on everyone's mind, the gacha. Right now, it's honestly too early to make any big judgments because as far as I can see from the current beta, there aren't any shop prices available yet. That means we don't know what pools are going to cost, what the premium currency economy is going to look like, or how generous the game will be once it officially launches. So if you've seen people already calling the monetization amazing or terrible, I think it's worth taking those opinions with a grain of salt. Until HoYoverse actually opens up the shop and reveals the pricing, we're all missing a huge piece of the puzzle. What we can see is how progression and collecting seem to work from the gameplay itself, and so far that side of things looks promising. Building teams, experimenting with different animas, and discovering new synergies all seem to be at the heart of the experience. The real question is whether getting those new animas will feel rewarding or frustrating once the game goes live. That's going to depend on things like summon rates, how much premium currency players can earn for free, pity systems, and whatever other progression mechanics HoYoverse decides to include. For now though, there's just not enough information to say whether the monetization will be player friendly or not. We'll have to wait until the full release, or at least a later beta, before we can make a fair judgment. The gaming market is actually in a really interesting place right now. Players love collecting, they love theory crafting, they love watching creators discover new strategies, and they love games that feel different every single time they log in. Nexus Anima checks a lot of those boxes. Instead of asking players to memorize difficult combos, it's asking them to think, experiment, adapt, optimize. That's the kind of gameplay loop that can last for years if it's done correctly, especially if HoYoverse keeps adding new creatures, new events, new challenges, and new strategies over time. Every update could completely reshape the meta, and that's exciting. So, is Honkai Nexus Anima going to replace Pokemon? No, I don't think that's even the goal. Instead, it looks like HoYoverse is taking inspiration from multiple genres and trying to create something that stands on its own, part creature collector, part strategy game, part auto battler. And honestly, that's what makes it so interesting. There's still a lot we don't know, but from what we've seen so far, this could end up being one of HoYoverse's freshest ideas in years. Now I want to hear from you. Are you more excited about collecting all the animas, or are you looking forward to experimenting with different team comps and seeing what crazy synergies you can come up with? Let me know down in the comments. I read as many of them as I can, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. It really helps the channel reach more people who are excited about Honkai Nexus Anima. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because I'll be covering all the latest news, beta updates, guides, tips, and release information as we get closer to launch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Don't forget, I'm usually the unlucky one. Okay, maybe I do catch a break sometimes.